Chosen one, listen carefully, because this message is not for everyone, and it was never meant to be. If you were not walking a divine path, if your spirit was not already prepared, you would have scrolled past without a second thought. But you didn't. You stayed. And that alone is proof that something greater is at work right now. You didn't find this message by accident. You didn't stumble into this moment randomly. You were led here at the exact time your spirit could receive it, not a second too early, not a moment too late. This is divine precision. This is confirmation. This is the moment heaven has been preparing you for. And before we go any deeper, I need you to do one thing in faith. If you feel this message pulling at your spirit, comment 777 below. That number represents divine completion, alignment, and confirmation. It is a signal not for the algorithm, but for your own spirit that you are ready to receive what is being released in this season. Chosen one. This is not just another motivational message. This is not hype. This is not emotion. This is a final divine window opening in your life. And windows like this do not stay open forever. For a long time, you have been praying, waiting, wondering when it would finally be your turn. You've watched others rise while you remained in preparation. You've done the inner work. You've endured the silence. You've survived seasons where nothing made sense. And you asked yourself, God, why am I still here? Why hasn't it happened yet? The answer is simple but profound. Because God does not rush what carries destiny. What is coming into your life is not small, and that is why the preparation was intense. You were not being delayed. You were being developed. Heaven was not withholding from you. Heaven was protecting you. You see, there is a difference between blessings that excite you and blessings that sustain you. Many people receive things they are not prepared to hold, and it destroys them. But you, chosen one, were trained in the unseen before being trusted in the visible. Every delay sharpened your discernment. Every disappointment strengthened your spirit. Every closed door saved you from a counterfeit opportunity. And now something has shifted. You can feel it even if you can't fully explain it. There is a restlessness in your spirit, a quiet urgency, a sense that time is accelerating. That is not anxiety, that is activation. That is your spirit recognizing that the season has changed. The divine window is open, and God is saying, now. Not soon, not someday, now. The reason this moment feels intense is because it requires a decision. Windows in the spirit realm demand movement. Those who hesitate will watch from the sidelines as others step into what was also available to them. This is why this message is not for everyone. Some will hear these words and feel nothing. Others will feel uncomfortable. But you feel recognition. Something inside you is saying, this is for me. And that inner knowing is not coincidence. That is the Spirit bearing witness. Chosen one, you have reached a crossroads. One path leads back to comfort, familiarity, and delay. The other leads forward into obedience, expansion, and abundance. And make no mistake, abundance is not just about money. It is about capacity. It is about influence. It is about being resourced enough to fulfill the assignment attached to your life. God does not bless chosen ones so they can live small, quiet, contained lives. He blesses them so they can fund purpose, break generational cycles, and build what others could not. But that level of blessing requires alignment. It requires trust. It requires faith that moves before evidence appears. That is why this moment matters so much. Heaven is watching how you respond when the invitation is extended. Not with fear, not with logic, but with faith. You've been asking for a sign. This is it. You've been asking for clarity. This is it. You've been asking if you should move, start, build, create, or step forward. This is your confirmation. The window is open, but it is time-sensitive. Divine timing is perfect, but it is also precise. When God says now, He means now. And here is the truth most people never hear. Missing a divine window does not mean God abandons you, but it does mean you may have to wait through another cycle to see the same opportunity again. That is why this moment carries weight. That is why your spirit feels alert. Heaven is not pressuring you. Heaven is inviting you. But invitation requires response. Chosen one, everything you've been through has led to this point. The confusion, the setbacks, the moments you almost gave up. They were not meant to stop you. They were meant to prepare you. You are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time. And right now, the gate of opportunity is open before you. What you do next matters. Stay with me, because what comes next will explain why your life had to unfold the way it did, why your finances were tested, and why this season holds the potential to change everything. If you know deep in your spirit that this message is speaking directly to you, don't ignore that pull. Comment 777. Below, align yourself with this moment and prepare your heart, because this is only the beginning. Chosen one, now that you understand the window is open, you must understand the law that governs what is about to enter your life, because wealth in God's kingdom does not operate the way the world taught you. This is where many people get confused and lose what they receive. Wealth itself is not evil, and poverty is not holiness. That lie was planted to keep powerful people weak and obedient to limitation. Money is not light or darkness on its own. Money is a magnifier. It amplifies whatever already lives inside you. When fear lives inside, money magnifies fear. When pride lives inside, money magnifies pride. But when obedience, humility, and purpose live inside money, becomes a tool of light. And this is why God does not release abundance randomly. He releases it strategically. Every blessing from heaven carries a test, and every increase is an examination of the heart. You see, God is not trying to see if you can get money. He is watching to see if money can get you. That is the real test. Many people pray for wealth, but they are not prepared for the responsibility that comes with it. They want the reward without the refinement. But you chosen one were taken through refinement first. That is why your journey has been slow, quiet, and often misunderstood. God was shaping your inner structure before expanding your outer world. He knows that abundance without character leads to destruction. So, He trains before He trusts. Think about this carefully. Why do some people receive money quickly and lose it just as fast? Because they were never trained to carry it. They were given access without alignment. But God does not work that way with His chosen. He teaches stewardship in lack before releasing overflow in abundance. That is why you had to learn how to manage little, how to stay faithful when nothing was working, how to give when you had almost nothing left. Those moments were not insignificant. They were your qualification. You were proving without realizing it that your heart would not change when your circumstances did. God watches how you behave when no one is applauding, when no one is watching, when there is no reward in sight. That is where readiness is measured. and you passed tests you didn't even know you were taking. This is why the world's definition of wealth will never satisfy a chosen one. The world teaches accumulation. God teaches circulation. The world teaches hoarding. God teaches flowing. You were never designed to be a vault where blessings stop. You were designed to be a vessel where blessings move through. That is heaven's economy. When resources flow through you in obedience, heaven keeps the supply open. When fear causes you to cling, the flow slows. This is not punishment. It is spiritual law. Many chosen ones stayed stuck financially because they misunderstood this principle. They thought staying small was humility. But lack does not glorify God. You cannot build, feed, heal, or fund divine assignments when you are constantly struggling to survive. God does not need His chosen to be broke. He needs them to be equipped. That is why He has been shifting your mindset. Every season of lack forced you to depend on Him, not money. And that dependence is what now qualifies you to handle money without being controlled by it. God withholds nothing good from His children. He only withholds what would harm them if released too early. And the truth is, you are protected from premature success. If you had received what you asked for years ago, it would have crushed you, distracted you, or pulled you away from your calling. So, God delayed the blessing to develop the steward. What you thought was rejection was actually redirection. What felt like denial was actually divine development. And now your perspective has changed. You no longer see wealth as identity. You see it as assignment. You no longer crave money for validation. You desire provision for purpose. And that shift is everything. Because abundance begins in the mind before it manifests in the world. If deep down you believe wealth is dangerous, you will subconsciously push it away. If you believe you are unworthy, you will sabotage opportunities without realizing it. That is why God had to renew your thinking through hardship. Every time you had to start over, your pride was stripped. Every time you lost something, your attachment was loosened. Every time you were humbled, your spirit was strengthened. These were not accidents, they were upgrades. Heaven was rewiring you for stewardship. And now listen carefully, because this part is crucial. God does not bless motion alone. He blesses motive. Many people are busy, but their hearts are misaligned. God looks past your actions and examines your intentions. He asks one question before releasing increase. Can I trust you with influence without losing you? Can I trust you with power without corrupting you? Can I trust you with comfort without making you complacent? This is why chosen ones are tested so deeply. You are not being prepared for money. You are being prepared for responsibility. Responsibility to give, responsibility to lead, responsibility to remain humble when others elevate you. Wealth in God's system is not the reward. Obedience is the reward. Wealth is simply the reflection of alignment. When you walk in obedience, provision follows you. You don't chase it. It chases purpose. That is why your past struggles were necessary. They trained you to listen. They taught you patience. They sharpened your discernment. You learned the difference between what looks good and what is God. And that wisdom will protect you in abundance, because money does not change people. It reveals them. And God needed to be sure that when money reveals you, it reveals light, not darkness. So if you ever wondered why your breakthrough almost happened but slipped away, why opportunities came close but didn't land, understand this. God was checking your heart, not punishing you. He was asking, Will you remain faithful without proof? Will you trust me without evidence? Will you give even while waiting? And you did. Even when it hurt. Even when it didn't make sense. And that is why this season is different. You are not the same person who prayed those prayers years ago. You are wiser. You are steadier. You are more grounded. You are ready. The spiritual law of abundance responds to alignment, not desperation. And right now, your spirit, your purpose, and your mindset are coming into agreement. That is why things are beginning to shift. Doors that were closed will open without force. Opportunities will come without striving. Favor will find you without chasing. This is what happens when the steward is ready. Chosen one. Let this truth settle in your spirit. You were never rejected. You were being refined. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared. And now the test is no longer about survival. The test is about stewardship. If this message resonates deep within you, if you feel your understanding expanding and your fear shrinking, comment 303 below. That number represents alignment of mind, body, and spirit. It marks the moment you stop fearing abundance and start preparing to manage it wisely. Stay with me, because in the next part you will finally understand why the battle in your finances was so intense and why the hardest seasons always come right before the greatest release. Chosen one. Now we go deeper, because if you ever wondered why your financial life felt like a battlefield, why money never seemed to flow easily, why every time you got close to stability, something happened to pull you back, this is the revelation you were waiting for. Before every great blessing, there is a great battle. Before every elevation, there is resistance. And before every crown, there is a cross. The struggles you faced were not random misfortune. They were strategic warfare. You were not unlucky. You were targeted. The enemy never attacks what carries no influence. He does not waste energy on lives that pose no threat. The reason your finances were under pressure is because your prosperity carries purpose beyond you. Your wealth was never meant to stop at your hands. It was meant to flow through you and affect generations, communities, assignments, and missions. And the enemy knew that. That is why he attacked your money, because he could not touch your calling. He tried to exhaust your faith through lack. He tried to make you question God's goodness through delay. He tried to convince you that you were forgotten, overlooked, or undeserving. But what he failed to understand is that endurance unlocks heaven's attention. Every night you went to bed, worried but still prayed every bill that scared you, but didn't break your faith every time you kept going. When logic said quit, those moments were spiritual victories. Heaven was watching. And heaven does not forget faithfulness. You see, chosen ones are forged in fire. Gold is not made in comfort. It is refined under pressure. The financial stress you experienced was shaping your character, not destroying it. God was teaching you humility before honor, dependence before abundance, and gratitude before overflow. Because abundance without humility leads to destruction. Many people ask for wealth, but few can handle what comes with it. God knew that one day you would be trusted with influence, and He needed your spirit to be unshakable. That is why the struggle lasted longer than you expected. He was protecting you from becoming someone you would later regret. Money does not change people. It reveals them. And God needed to be sure that when money reveals you, it reveals wisdom, compassion, discipline, and obedience. Think back for a moment. How many times did you almost break? How many times did you feel like giving up, starting over, or settling for less than what you knew you were called for? And yet, something inside you refused to quit. That wasn't willpower. That was calling. You were being held together by grace. And every time you survived another season of lack, your spirit grew stronger. You didn't see it then, but heaven was building something inside you that money cannot buy. Discernment, patience, emotional control, integrity. These are the foundations of sustainable wealth. That is why your journey looked different from others. Some people receive money quickly because it is not tied to assignment. But your wealth comes with responsibility. Your rise will awaken others. Your success will challenge systems. Your abundance will expose what is broken. And darkness resists exposure. That is why the fight was intense. But understand this clearly. The battle was never meant to stop you. It was meant to prepare you. Every attack was training. Every delay was discipline. Every disappointment was development. You were being trained to handle overflow without arrogance and loss without bitterness. God was pruning you so you could prosper in purity, because divine wealth does not just test your bank account. It tests your heart, your habits, and your relationships. And now something has shifted. The same pressure that once felt crushing now feels like it's lifting. The same fear that once dominated your thoughts now feels weaker. That is not imagination. That is breakthrough approaching. The hardest seasons always come right before release. The enemy fights hardest when he knows his time is short. That is why the attacks intensified just before things began to change. But you stayed, you prayed, you trusted, even when you didn't understand. And that endurance has positioned you for reversal. Chosen one, hear this truth. You were not suffering because God was distant. You were suffering because God was close. He was working deeply, quietly, intentionally. He was building a foundation that would not collapse when the blessing arrived. The world may have looked at your struggle and called it failure, but heaven called it formation. The storms that broke others built you. The lack that humbled you prepared you. The rejection that wounded you redirected you. Some doors did not open because they would have led you away from your true assignment. Some people walked away because they were not meant to walk into your next season. That was not loss. That was protection. And now you are stepping into a season where the same area that caused pain will produce provision. The same place of struggle will become the place of testimony. God restores with intention. He does not just give back what was lost. He multiplies it with wisdom. But before that happens, you must understand one final truth about the battle. Wealth without warfare breeds weakness. You are not just being blessed to enjoy. You are being entrusted to protect what is given. That is why your discernment has sharpened. You can now feel when something is off. You can sense counterfeit opportunities. You can tell when a door is forced instead of favored. That sensitivity was developed in hardship. Pain was your teacher. And now that wisdom will guard your prosperity. Because not everyone who celebrates you belongs in your next chapter. Some will reappear when overflow comes pretending they were always there. But your spirit will know who is aligned and who is attracted. Stay discerning, stay grounded, stay grateful. The financial attacks did not mean you were weak. They meant you were dangerous to darkness. And now the season of testing is ending. The season of manifestation is beginning. You have already won this battle in the unseen. Every prayer whispered through tears, every act of obedience in lack, every moment you chose, faith over fear, planted seeds. And seeds planted in pain produce harvests in purpose. That is why lately you may feel an inner stirring, a sense that something big is approaching. That is not anxiety, that is activation. Your spirit is aligning with what heaven has already approved. The energy around you is shifting, your frequency is changing. You are no longer vibrating at survival, you are aligning with abundance. And when alignment happens, acceleration follows. Chosen one, you are not behind. You are being aligned. You are never forgotten. You are being fortified. The battle was necessary because the blessing is significant. And now, as this truth settles into your spirit, I want you to mark this moment. If you feel this message confirming what you already knew deep down, if you sense that an old cycle is closing and a new one is about to begin, comment 999 below. That number represents completion, the end of the struggle phase and the beginning of restoration. Stay with me, because in the next part you will understand why everything around you has been shifting, why the world feels unstable, and how the wealth transfer has already begun in the spiritual realm. Chosen one, pay close attention now, because this is where everything begins to make sense. If you have felt like the world around you is shifting, like systems you once trusted are no longer stable, like doors are closing while others are mysteriously opening, this is not coincidence. This is confirmation. A divine shift is underway, and you are living inside a prophetic moment. The wealth transfer has already begun, not first in the physical, but in the spiritual. And understand this truth clearly. Every major move of God begins unseen before it becomes undeniable. What you are witnessing right now is not chaos. It is alignment. Structures built on greed, deception, and imbalance are being shaken while new pathways are being cleared for those who walk in obedience and integrity. This is why things feel unstable. God is dismantling what cannot sustain the next season. Jobs ending, systems failing, sudden changes, unexpected disruptions. These are not signs of loss. They are signs of repositioning. Heaven is clearing space, and when God clears space, it is always to make room for something greater. Chosen one. This is not a season to panic. It is a season to prepare. What you have been praying for is not delayed. It is being staged. Divine timing does not move slowly. It moves precisely. And when it moves, it accelerates suddenly. What once took years will now take months. What once required struggle will now come with favor. You are entering a season where momentum replaces resistance. But you must understand how this wealth transfer actually works, because many misunderstand it and miss it entirely. The wealth transfer is not about money falling from the sky. It is not about luck lotteries or shortcuts. It is about divine ideas, supernatural favor, and strategic positioning. God does not give His chosen money without direction. He gives them vision, insight, creativity, and access. And when they act on those divine instructions, provision follows. That is why lately you have been feeling an urge to move, to create, to build, to start something new. That restlessness is not dissatisfaction. It is divine momentum. The Spirit is stirring you because your name has been marked for this shift. You are part of what God is doing in this season, not because you are special in the eyes of man, but because you remained faithful when no one was watching. The wealth that is being released is not random. It is targeted. God is redistributing influence, resources, and authority into the hands of those He can trust, those who endured without bitterness, those who waited without compromising, those who stayed obedient in obscurity. This is justice. This is restoration. The world may call it luck, but heaven calls it alignment. And here is something important you must grasp. The wealth transfer will not come through entitlement. It will flow through obedience. Many will hear messages like this and assume they can sit back and wait. But divine timing does not reward passivity. It rewards readiness. God is empowering faithful stewards, not idle dreamers. The chosen ones who act when the Spirit says move are the ones who will catch this wave. Those who hesitate will watch it pass. That is why you have been feeling pressure, urgency, and intensity. That is not stress, that is activation. The Spirit within you knows the window is open, but it is not permanent. Divine opportunities come with expiration dates. When the portal closes, effort cannot reopen what obedience could have accessed. That is why delayed obedience is still disobedience. Chosen one, now is the time to align every part of your life with your purpose, your habits, your mindset, your relationships, your priorities. You cannot step into a new level while carrying old patterns. God is calling you higher, and higher levels require lighter loads. You may notice that some people are drifting away. Some connections are fading. Some conversations no longer resonate. Do not chase what God is removing. Separation is preparation. When elevation comes, purification always comes first. And while this shift is happening, pay attention to what is being downloaded into your spirit. Sudden ideas, clear visions, strong impressions. These are not random thoughts. These are instructions. The Spirit is guiding you into your next assignment. Some of you are being called to start businesses that will bless others. Some are being led into creative works that will influence culture. Some are being positioned to fund missions, support communities, or build platforms of impact. The form may differ, but the source is the same. God is releasing resources so His chosen can execute divine assignments. And listen carefully. You cannot receive new blessings with an old mindset. This shift in divine timing requires a shift in perception. No more small thinking, no more questioning your worth, no more shrinking when God is calling you to expand. He would not bring you this far if He did not intend to complete the work He started. You have been through the fire. You have endured the battle. And now you stand at the doorway of manifestation. Let me say this clearly. This is your season of reversal. The same area where you experienced loss will now become the area of overflow. The same place where you struggled will now produce testimony. The same people who doubted your journey will witness your favor. This is not motivation. This is confirmation. Heaven is realigning the flow of resources according to divine order. But timing matters. When God says now, He means now. Comfort will try to delay you. Fear will try to slow you down. Logic will try to argue. But faith moves without full understanding. The chosen ones who act swiftly on divine instruction will receive acceleration. Those who wait for certainty will miss momentum. That is why your spirit feels restless. It is pushing you forward. This is not anxiety. This is readiness. God's timing is perfect, but it is also precise. And this moment is precise. The wealth transfer is not just about money. It is about mission. God is funding assignments. He is resourcing vision. He is backing obedience. The world is hungry for truth, healing, and light, and you are the vessel through which these blessings will flow. You may notice that people around you are suddenly being blessed. Unexpected promotions, breakthroughs, open doors. Do not envy this. Recognize it as proximity. When blessings start touching those near you, it means the cloud of favor is moving in your direction. Rejoice when others rise, because it is a sign that your season is close. Heaven is speaking loudly now. Repeated confirmations, numbers appearing, doors opening where walls once stood. God has already approved your breakthrough. You do not need to beg anymore. You need to believe. Do not fear the shift. Embrace it. Divine timing does not require you to chase. It requires you to trust. And before this season closes, many of you will witness a tangible sign of increase. It may be a financial turnaround, a new stream of income, a restored opportunity, a door that opens effortlessly. It will not come through force. It will come through alignment. God is proving that He rewards those who endure in obedience. The wilderness season is ending. The harvest season is beginning. The wealth transfer has begun, and your name is written among those who will receive. Lift your faith right now and declare quietly within yourself, "It is my time." Because the moment you align your words with heaven's timing, the atmosphere shifts in your favor. Stay with me, chosen one, because in the next part I will show you exactly what you must do now to activate what has already been released and how to move in a way that keeps the flow open and protected. Chosen one, now we arrive at the moment where everything changes, because revelation without action produces frustration, but revelation followed by obedience produces manifestation. What you have heard so far was not meant to inspire you emotionally and leave you unchanged. It was meant to activate you. Heaven has already moved in the unseen. The door has been opened. The shift has been approved. Now God is watching your response in the physical realm. This is where many people miss their moment, or they agree in their heart but hesitate in their actions. But understand this clearly. God blesses motion, not intention. He responds to faith that moves, not faith that waits for perfect conditions. You have prayed, you have fasted, you have endured. Now the season has changed. Prayer prepared the ground, but obedience activates the harvest. The next steps you take matter more than ever. The first instruction is this: realign your spirit. Silence the noise. Turn down the distractions. Spend time alone, even if it feels uncomfortable. In that stillness, listen, not to fear, not to doubt, but to the quiet voice of the Spirit. Write down what comes to your mind. Ideas, impressions, urges, instructions. Do not dismiss them. That is not imagination. That is direction. God speaks to His chosen through intuition when they are ready to listen. The second instruction is to purify your mindset. Release the belief that you are unworthy of abundance. That belief is not humility. It is a spiritual chain. God did not choose you because you were perfect. He chose you because you were willing. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Stop apologizing for your calling. You have been refined through fire, and now you are qualified to carry provision without corruption. The third instruction is to act boldly and immediately. That idea that keeps returning to your mind, the business, the project, the ministry, the creative work, the application, the move you keep postponing. That is the channel through which your provision will flow. God does not drop money from the sky. He releases blueprints. When you act on the blueprint, provision follows. Obedience unlocks supply. Fear delays it. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need to take the next step. The fourth instruction is discipline. What is coming to you is not meant to be wasted. Learn how to manage, multiply, and steward what God places in your hands. Discipline is the bridge between prophecy and prosperity. Without structure, blessing becomes burden. God is not testing whether you can receive. He is testing whether you can sustain. The fifth instruction is to guard your environment and energy. As soon as you rise, distractions will increase. Some people will appear supportive, but drain you. Some voices will question your faith. Some opportunities will look good, but feel heavy. Trust your discernment. Not every open door is divine. God will guide you with peace, not pressure. Protect your spirit. Keep your circle small. Not everyone deserves access to your next season. The sixth instruction is generosity. This is non-negotiable. God gives to givers. You are not chosen to collect blessings. You are chosen to circulate them. Giving is not loss. It is spiritual investment. When you release with obedience, heaven multiplies the flow. The more freely you give, the more confidently God entrusts you with increase. The seventh instruction is to build for eternity, not ego. Divine wealth is not about applause. It is about impact. Every resource you receive is a tool. Use it to uplift, heal, restore, and build what matters. God funds missions, not vanity. And when your motive stays pure, your supply stays open. Now listen carefully, because this is the warning and the promise. The gate of abundance is open, but it responds to action. Overthinking will close what obedience could access. Waiting for perfect clarity will cause you to miss divine momentum. Remember the story of Peter. He had fished all night and caught nothing. Logic told him to stop. Experience told him it was pointless. But when Jesus told him to cast the net again, obedience outweighed logic, and the nets overflowed. This is that moment for you. Cast the net again, apply again, start again, try again, speak again, believe again. This time the result will be different, because heaven is backing your effort. You are not moving alone. When you move in obedience, the unseen moves with you. You will begin to notice signs confirming you are on the right path. A deep peace replacing anxiety. Divine synchronization. Right people appearing at the right time. Repeated confirmations. Small blessings arriving unexpectedly. These are previews of greater things. Treat every small breakthrough like a prophecy fulfilled, and it will multiply. But also remain alert. When blessings increase, distractions increase. Stay grounded, stay prayerful, stay grateful. Gratitude seals blessings. Now, chosen one, this is the moment to respond. Not tomorrow, not later, now. If your spirit feels stirred, if you feel that inner confirmation, if something inside you is saying, "This is my season," then mark this moment. Comment 999 below. If you are ready to close the old cycle and step into the new, that number represents completion and readiness. If you commit today to act in obedience, to move even without full certainty, comment now in the comments and declare your alignment publicly. And if you receive this word, share this message with someone who needs confirmation, because obedience multiplies when shared. Subscribe to this channel because every message released here is designed to guide you deeper into your assignment and keep you aligned with divine timing. Chosen one, remember this truth. You are not waiting on God anymore. God is waiting on you. Heaven has spoken. The door is open. The instructions are clear. Move, create, build, obey. Let your faith speak louder than your fear, and the Spirit of God will go before you, making every crooked path straight. This is not just your moment of breakthrough. This is your moment of responsibility. Walk through the gate of abundance with humility, courage, and obedience, and you will experience what few ever do: divine provision, divine peace, divine fulfillment. Now take a deep breath, feel the confirmation in your spirit, and say quietly, "I receive it." Because the moment you do, heaven begins to move in your favor.